What do you say, everybody? It's time for your favorite show and ours, right? It's time for Monday Night Quarterback, and we're going to talk about Alabama. We're going to look around the SEC, and for the next hour, around there, we're going to just kind of get into everything that happened. But, I mean, 41-24, Alabama with the victory over Georgia. Kyle Henderson and Tony Tsoukalas are here. We're expecting Trey to join us here in a couple minutes. He's got some homework to do, so he can't come on until his homework's done, Kyle.
Yeah, like when I look at this show, like I want it to be informal. I want to just relax. I mean, after this wild weekend with Nick Saban having COVID and then the Alabama-Georgia game, I mean, he can do his homework, but I want this show to be relaxed, and I want to enter the week getting ready for Alabama-Tennessee.
Tony, man, look, I know you weren't expecting that second half.
But I was expecting Alabama's offense to be able to score. Maybe not that much. I don't think anyone was expecting Alabama's offense to just go totally off on a really quality Georgia defense. But that was crazy. I think, I want to build on this Mac Jones hype that I've created, and I'm just soaking in the I told you so right now, because earlier this offseason, I was really high on Mac Jones, and now I'm able to kind of bask in that glow, and he sure has proven me right. Fun to watch because that guy can sling it, man. And with all the weapons that Alabama has, 3 straight 400-yard games. That's crazy. That's just, who does that?
Yeah, I mean, and you look at all of the great quarterbacks that Alabama has put out there since Nick Saban, including Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Hurts, and Blake Sims had some big passing games, and to think that Mac Jones is kind of the guy that now has taken the ball and is just kind of blowing out some of the numbers. It's amazing to me. I'm one of the people that just, I was late on the bandwagon. I'm on here now, gladly. But, the Mac attack is for real. All right, let's go around the horn here. I'm going to start with you, Kyle. I'm going to go last. Just your thoughts on the win over Georgia.
I mean, I felt that Alabama was going to win this game going in. Did I think it'd be a blowout? I mean, was that a blowout? I don't know. I mean, I think Alabama, they're able to take care of business in that second half. And the thing is, Alabama fans are going to be like, Pete Golding coached the first half defense, and then Nick Saban coached the second half defense. Look, the point is, the defense came up, made plays, 2 interceptions, got Georgia to, punt twice, as I talked about on our observations. But I think overall, I mean, no one's going to be able to beat this team unless they can outscore this team. I mean, you look at guys like Devontae Smith, you look at Jalen Waddle, you look at the overall production of Mac Jones and what he's been able to do. This passing tree that I have here is from Pro Football Focus. Look at over 20 yards. I mean, it's ridiculous. 93.1 to the outside right, 92.8 down the field, and between the numbers, and then 93.5 to the outside left. I mean, the game came down to, like Nick Saban said, it came down to turnovers. And I think, as I mentioned in my observations, that I felt like this game really rejuvenated Nick Saban. I know there's a lot of people that agreed with that. I know Tony's next on the horn here. Tony, did you feel that way, kind of seeing the way that Nick Saban was so animated in this game, and then afterwards everybody's talking about him dancing in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, if you can make Nick Saban dance after a game, I think you're doing it right as a team. This was a big win for Alabama. It's the game that I think if you go into the season, it's what they had circled. I know they're going to say that they don't circle a game, but it's hard not to circle a game like this. Georgia's becoming that other team in the SEC that's up at that elite level. Really, nobody else in the SEC matches what Alabama and Georgia can do. And Georgia just always gets there, but they can't knock off Alabama. This is a kind of game that could be a playoff game. I don't think they'll meet again in the playoffs, because I think they'll probably meet again in the SEC championship game. But then again, if Georgia was to win that one, I think maybe, we could get 3 in one season. I just think this was a win, a statement win over a team that is playoff good. I mean, if you go down, don't even look at the rest of Alabama's schedule, go in the rest of the top 10 in college football. I mean, Georgia dropped down to 4? So if Alabama can do this against a Georgia team, really, for me, Clemson's the only other team on Alabama's level. I think the only team capable in the nation of beating Alabama at this moment is Clemson.
Gotta say, I'm an old Kama'aina from Hawaii, so when I see like people giving us the shout outs,
Oh
I
no,
went to UH for a semester, man. That's probably why I love Tua so much. So
you know
I'm sure
what?
the weather's fantastic.
When Tua was here, I mean, I was getting, chocolate from Hawaii. I was getting coffee from
You got a
Hawaii.
whole care package. You got the lei.
Yeah, I got a lei, like an official lei, and I was wearing it on the show. And all my friends in Hawaii, they were sending. No, my favorite was the Hawaiian fish jerky.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my God, it was amazing. So, aloha back, and we appreciate you guys watching. And thanks for joining us.
I used to eat this stuff, aliamui. It was like this. I think I'm saying it right. It was like peach pits that they season, and like they're like, hey, you gotta try this, and I try it, and I'm like, okay, this is amazing. So longtime fan even before Tua, but yeah, they love their football out in Hawaii. My thought on this game was I just expected the first half to be the entire game, and I knew that there was a weakness. I mean, if you guys watched the Bama Insider Tailgate show, you'll know that I said that, I felt like Georgia's weakness was quarterback. And honestly, Stetson Bennett kind of won me over a little bit, even though he didn't win the football game. I felt like there were too many drop passes, and they put him in bad spots, where he's like, trying to make up for guys not holding on the footballs. But the kid's a gamer, but his weakness is being able to throw the ball downfield. He kind of reminded me of Greg McElroy when he was at Alabama in 2009 and 2010. He's a good quarterback and he knows where to throw the ball, just doesn't have the arm strength to really get it over top of the defense, consistently. But the second half, Alabama gave up some yards, but the defense came up with the big plays when they had to, and that type of offense that Georgia has is what Alabama's kind of built to stop, and then you compare it to Ole Miss, where you go really fast and you spread it out and you're just kind of, bang, bang, bang. That gives Alabama trouble when you mix in the rushing quarterback. So, but I didn't expect this. I just didn't expect Alabama to just, absolutely throttle Georgia in the second half. And, that's a huge win for Alabama. Last year's team did not have that signature win. And when we kind of got through the season, it was like they lost to LSU and then they lost to Auburn. And you're looking at a team that could not play defense, but they had this awesome offense. And this year they did enough to get the win. And now they're going into Tennessee week, as we kind of look at that later on in this game. But we're going to talk about the SEC, the entire SEC before that. But look, this is Tennessee week. Our friend Reagan and R&R Cigar, he has the Victory Cigar. So instead of game balls, we're going to give out Victory Cigars to our player of the game for this week from the Georgia game. Kyle, I'm going to start with you.
Player of the game?
Yeah, like the player of the game.
Other than Mac Jones?
I'm going with Mac Jones.
I know who. There's another guy there. There is one. Get it to me. Get it to me.
Okay. Are you going with?
That's exactly what I'm doing. But you go first. I don't want to steal your thunder.
No. Okay. Victory Cigars. I still want to talk. I keep itching to talk about like Tua Tagovailoa playing yesterday. So can we eventually
throw it in there, man? Throw it right now. Throw it right now on this whole thing.
I think
give him one too. Give him a Victory Cigar too.
A Victory Cigar to Tua. Everyone saw him after the game just sitting there soaking it in. He's such a media darling, right? Like even Mick said before this, he was like, man, this is like one of my favorite guys that I've ever covered and ever watched. And look who's back from the homework club. What's up?
There he is. You get it done, buddy?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? A little bit of a Jordan battle tonight.
Yeah, let's switch your audio from here into this.
Put your name in there. Come on. It's like there's two Mick Gillespies, and
you gotta update your name too.
But I'd love to be that Mick Gillespie that's in school right now. So as he does that, let's go down to Tony. And who's your Victory Cigar going to?
It's got to be Mac Jones, man. It's got to be Mac Jones. I think he completed. He had a rough start, but then he completed all but 2 passes to end the game. The guy can't be rattled. You intercept him. He comes back 3 throws later. He throws a touchdown pass to John Mechie. He's not even dinking and dunking. He's throwing, like we said, bombs. He's utilizing the receivers the same way. You mentioned Tua. Mac's utilizing the offense the same way Tua utilized the offense. You really can't miss it. It's absolutely crazy. And so it's got to be Mac Jones. He's doing this against a great Georgia defense too. It's not just, I think before you could say, oh, that's just, Texas A&M, or that's just Missouri, or that's just Ole Miss. Well, this is a legit defense. It doesn't get any better than this. If he can throw up 400 yards on this, man, I'm going to be seeing him in New York.
And the thing I like too, before I go to you, Trey, so just tell us, you just start thinking who you're going to give your victory cigar out to, is that when he gets in trouble, instead of trying to make something happen and running in circles and getting sacked and bad things happen, he just throws the ball away. And Kyle knows, we watched the game together. I'm just like, thank goodness this guy's just like, look, we'll get him next play. Let's not put me in a situation to get hurt. And and at the same time, let's fight for another down. I thought Mac and his ability to just kind of be smart with the football was amazing. So, all right, Trey, I'm going to go next. You got to give out your victory cigar.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, there's so many guys in a win like this, that contributed, but there's one guy I want to highlight. Kyle and I talked about it a little bit before the show. This guy, a 52-yard field goal at the half.
Boom.
Swinging the
I love this photo.
Right, dude.
Game
cigar,
like those apples, right?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Reagan's got these special cigars he has made every year just for the Tennessee-Alabama game, and he deserves one of those, even though it was for the Georgia game. When he hit that field goal, it was really like a momentum-changing play.
Look, that's the longest field goal Auburn's had since 2015.
Look at this. Yeah, where were you in 2015? Trey was just starting to walk, right?
In diapers.
Yeah, he was in diapers. Now look at this, all right? 26 of 26, all right? 4 of 4 on field goals, right? He has 38 points overall. And poor Sam Johnson's also on this screen, which a lot of people are, saying Alabama needs a new punter, but they had 3 or 4 inside the 20. But point is, he has the longest of 52 yarders, 26 of 26, and he's 4 of 4. Alabama has their field goal. So yeah, Trey, I think you're right. When we look at cigars, I mean, give Will Riker. I don't even know if he's old enough to smoke a cigar. But
I don't know either.
He definitely doesn't look old enough. He looks about as old as Trey.
Give his dad one.
Classmates.
Yeah. Just give it out to the family. All right, guys. I love where you're going, but you're all wrong. It's Smitty. I mean, that Georgia's going, okay, this guy, Devontae Smith, when he's gone, we're just going to be happy, right? I mean, first off, he was supposed to go to Georgia, and then he ends up at Alabama, and then he has just, killed them, okay? He's absolutely just terrorized them. I mean, of course, we all know about Tua's pass to him to win the national championship game, which in my opinion is that's the biggest play in the history of Alabama football. And there's a lot of big plays, but none are better than that. They've never had a walk-off national championship, in overtime. And so he caught that, and he's just been here forever. But another huge day against Georgia, which is a great defense. It just seems like he rises to the occasion when he gets the opportunity to play against the Dogs. And, I'm throwing one
Mick,
out there.
Read off those career stats. I mean, they're right there for you, man.
Yeah.
Softball.
Yeah, 156 catches, 27 touchdowns. He's closing in on 3,000 yards, and he'll probably get that here, in the next few weeks. The way that he's going. So, there was a time and I'm going to show my age. Just you guys can call me Uncle Mick. I'm going to go back to the days when Alabama we could never find a receiver. We we'd just be like, all right, yeah, this is our guy, and then and it was nothing like this. We get into the big games, and then that guy would be shut down. And then when Julio Jones came, it changed everything as far as playmakers go. One of Nick Saban's first really huge signings, and then they've just built momentum in that receiver spot ever since. And I got to tell you, Smitty he's one of my all-time favorites.
Our friends at Pro Football Focus gave me a great stat. He's had 38 catchable balls this season. He's caught all of them. So he's one of I think 12 receivers who haven't dropped the pass at all this season. And probably the best hands in college football, Devontae Smith.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, this is the fun part of the show. And the reason why it's fun is because we get to talk about the games in the SEC. We've already kind of opined on Alabama. Look, Alabama beat Georgia, and we can look back now and say, it was time to teach the Bulldogs to behave. We sing that every week at the end of the game. But let's talk about the other games in the SEC. And normally I save the big game for the end. The game that we all want to talk about. and we go through the other ones, but not this week. Because I'm looking at this right now. Number 15, Auburn, lost at South Carolina, 30-22. I thought this was interesting because Auburn got up early. They tried to go for 2. It would have made it, if they kicked the extra point, it's 9-0. It's 10-0. They don't. They missed the extra point, so it's 9-0. And then South Carolina just kept hanging in there. And then I turn around, and South Carolina at one point was up by 1 point, and I'm like, okay. And then you look at the way that this thing kind of shook out. That's a bad loss for Auburn. This isn't a great South Carolina team. And if you drive down the Lee County and you go to Auburn, you're going to see the vultures, and they're circling over top of the football building right now. They think that there might be some fresh meat here coming soon. You lose games like this at Auburn, and this has kind of been the knock on Malzahn as the head coach. This is a huge loss, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, what were you expecting? I mean, the Auburn, Tigers are so topsy-turvy. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys continue to rise up and, win a couple games that they're not supposed to. Now, I don't think that anything's going to happen like last year. But, I mean, with Gus Malzahn, I mean, it's like up and down. I mean, I think I'm kind of jealous at some of the other, people who get to cover other teams from the SEC because you have like those roller coaster of emotions. Whereas like in Alabama, you don't necessarily have that. You just have Alabama just taking it to every single team. Like, for example, what just happened against Georgia, like, man, 41-24 against the number 3 team in the country. So Tony and I were talking about this after the game. I mean, you look through the rest of the schedule and yeah, I get it. From like coaches speak, you're like, oh, it's only about this next game. No, it's not. Look at the rest of the teams on the schedule, right? It's boring.
Yeah.
I mean, Tennessee, yawn. Mississippi State, what are they going to throw? Like 15 interceptions? Yawn. You look at LSU, what they've done? Yawn. I mean, come on. Like Auburn, what they've done? Okay, the most exciting games, think about this. The most exciting games now on the rest of the schedule are Arkansas and Kentucky. Someone's like, wow, Arkansas and Kentucky. Wow, it's going to really be – no, it's not. I mean, have you not seen the last like 10 or 11 games between these two teams? I mean, Arkansas versus Alabama. Are you kidding me? So I'm not surprised that Auburn has continued to just, nosedive and they'll win a game they're not supposed to. I mean, I'm not surprised, Mick. I'm just, obviously.
I'm surprised. What about you, Tony? You got to be surprised.
At Auburn? I mean, look, they should have lost to Arkansas last week. They should, they should be like 1-3. They didn't look that great in any of their games, and it's just, I'm not surprised actually. I'm surprised. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season, I would have been surprised. But I'm kind of with Kyle on this. It's going to be. There's not a lot for Alabama. I think Alabama really has to. I think that's part of the reason why we saw Nick Saban really kind of try to hammer home the point to his players that. You really have to stay focused because this is a time when Alabama could get really unfocused because they're not going to be challenged. They faced their hardest opponent. And now if you look at the rest of this schedule, I don't think of a team that can beat Alabama until possibly they play Georgia again. I mean, I don't know if that's the case unless Georgia figures out the quarterback. And then you're looking at the playoff. I mean, we could go months without a close game from Alabama.
Rat poison, Tony. That is
sorry,
poison. What you're saying right there, man. Do you hear? You're in those press conferences. Nick Saban's going to tell you that. I mean, look, they still have to play at LSU. Did you see Florida State beat North Carolina? Look, I know North Carolina's not on that level yet, but I mean, upsets happen, and if Alabama's not prepared, they got to go to LSU. Kentucky has a great defense. They got Auburn on the schedule. I mean, these are some tough games. Arkansas is a good team this year, way better than I anticipated. So, I'm not ready to give Alabama the perfect 10-0 going into the SEC championship game.
I don't know, Nick.
I mean, come on.
LSU? Come on.
Yeah, look, dude, they're going to be ready to go. All right,
they let KJ Costello throw for 600 yards on them. What's Mac Jones going to throw for?
I know, but I'm just telling you, if that's what rat poison is. Did you see the Ole Miss game?
I just don't think you're going to stop this Alabama offense.
I thought you were at the Ole Miss game. I remember you being there.
Yeah, well, the Ole Miss still couldn't stop Alabama's offense.
I'm just telling you, you were. We watched it on TV. You watched it from the press box, and I'm telling you right now that rat poison that you're throwing out there, when it was in the fourth quarter of that football game, you weren't going, okay, these guys, like, it was like, hey, if we don't score right here, we're not stopping these guys, and it's going to be just awful. Be the
The
season,
thing is, when I look at this Alabama offense, like you really can't say if they don't score right here, they score every time. It seems like. I mean, like this is one of the best offenses I've ever seen.
Yeah, they've done a good job. All right, let me get Trey in here. He's hot off of getting that homework done. He was at the Georgia game, and I'm sure in the student section, feeling good about life. Is that a LeBron James jersey? I don't know anything about basketball.
No way, no. LeBron,
who's that?
Who's
that guy?
Right here. We're
Who?
Kyrie Irving?
Don't know anything about it. All right, let's talk football. All right, so what did you think about that Auburn? Did you expect Auburn to lose that game?
With Auburn this year and really every year, you can expect inconsistency. You can expect him to come out and look pretty good against a team like Kentucky in week 1 and then, lay 3 eggs in a row. They shouldn't have beat Arkansas last week. They really shouldn't have. This week, this game was obviously winnable into the fourth quarter, but South Carolina had their number. Shi Smith made some of the most incredible catches I've seen all season. I'm not going to say really. I think Alabama still has to be worried about this team to an extent because this is your arch rival and anything is possible in that game. And I don't want to, feed you the rat poison quite yet like Tony is easy to do here, but he's got a point. Who's going to outscore this team? I mean, there's one, maybe 2 teams in the whole country that could hang around, and they wear orange and purple and are in South Carolina. You don't have to see them until the playoff, maybe the national title, and the other team's in Ohio and hasn't even played a football game yet, so we don't know. But when it comes to the SEC right now, we're going to jump around, but there's not too much to worry about. That was this weekend.
Right.
Auburn's going to struggle to be 5-5.
Yeah,
I hope so. I mean, look, I'm going to tell you. I mean, like, I'm not supposed to cheer, but I mean, look, I'm an Alabama grad, and I just that would be great. All right, let's talk about this one. Arkansas 33-21 over Ole Miss. I was like surprised. Like, I couldn't believe it was like 20-0 at the half or something. 21-0 at the half. Arkansas, I just thought that this Arkansas team was going to go over. I thought they were going to go over or maybe win 1. They're 2-2 right now, and they should be 3-1 because the officials, what do we call that? What do they call it? Touchdown Auburn or no?
I think they call it Auburn Jesus.
Auburn Jesus. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Auburn Jesus saved them again, right? And so they're 2-2. But this is a fun team to watch right now. Trey, I'm just going to start right with you because Ole Miss, they had the moral victory against Alabama. You guys that watched the post-game show saw when Kyle threw up Lane Kiffin's post-game press conference. He said, hey, they're jogging. We're walking off the field, and everybody gave us a standing ovation. We lost. And when that happens, this happens. 33-21 Ole Miss.
This is a force to reckon with this year. Everybody ruled him out. Obviously after last season, that was easy to do. But Felipe Franks, this offense, well coached now. They're fluid, and they're rolling. I think this team could win 7-8 games this year, make a bowl game, and just shock everybody because they're talented and they keep rolling. I think Ole Miss, to an extent, is still trying to figure things out. That offense is great. We figured that out last week. But as a whole, they have problems. That defense is going to struggle all year long. Credit to Arkansas's offense, but there's some serious flaws in Oxford still. They got to get worked out. Arkansas took advantage. What do you guys think?
Kyle?
I don't think Arkansas wins 7 games, Trey. Sorry.
Why not, man?
They could go 6-4 and make a bowl game.
Arkansas is a team that if you don't take them seriously, they can hurt you in some plays. But this is still a team that hadn't won in like 7 years. It seemed like. I think Arkansas is just gonna, they're. You want to talk about a team that's gonna play every week to go 1-0. I think every win Arkansas gets this season is such a bonus for them. So they're gonna come out scrappy. They're gonna come out tough, and I don't see that. If you go through their schedule, we can break it down, but I think that they might pull off a win or 2 more, but it's tough. I mean, look at this schedule. This is their schedule right here. I mean, hard to pick a real win out of what they've got left.
Yeah,
they're gonna lose against Texas A&M. They're gonna
the Tennessee game. I think they really got to circle that one, and maybe the Missouri one. I think we'll pull out those 2.
Tennessee, they're gonna lose to Florida. They're gonna go into 15 overtimes with LSU. The game against Missouri will be postponed for whatever reason, and then Alabama will beat them by 99 points. There's your Arkansas season.
I don't know, man. I mean, weird things happen when Alabama plays at Razorback Stadium. I think Alabama will win, but there was a year Alabama won like 14-13 there. I like the way that this team moves the football. I like their confidence too, and they've kind of got this like, Tony and everyone else isn't giving us a shot type attitude. They could beat LSU. They might upset a Texas A&M. They're going to beat Missouri. It's not going to get postponed. They're going to play that game. And who knows what could happen. But they have shown so far through 4 games that they play quality football. I got to give them a lot of credit for that. All right, the other game, before we get to the final game, because we had 2 postponed, LSU and Florida, Vandy and Missouri, and those were the first 2 postponed games this year. So I think 26 of 28 games scheduled have played in the SEC through COVID, so that's good. Texas A&M, number 11 in the country, it was a grinded-out win against the Bulldogs, 28-14. Mississippi State got off to that great start. We thought, hey, now this is what we're going to see from this Bulldog team. They went in there and they whooped LSU. They're going to surprise people, and they stink. But they played a decent game against Texas A&M. But I got to give Texas A&M credit. Like, they're starting to try to build some momentum. Start with you, Kyle. I know you're ready to talk about this.
What about nice thumbs up? We appreciate it. I'll reserve the username for next time. Nice job. We appreciate the thumbs up, man.
I know a few people named that.
Yeah. So Justin Walls, hey, everyone in the chat box, thank you very much for watching. This is the Monday Night Quarterback. Trey Anity, Mick Gillispie, Tony Sukalis. You guys know who I am, Kyle Henderson. We're talking everything under the sun. It's just a fun show to have. Super chats go to feed Trey Anity and Mick Gillispie. So hook them up with some super chats. We appreciate it. Trey just outside of his college classes. When I look at Texas A&M, I don't know. Texas A&M, I saw them against Alabama. Not really impressed. Kellen Mond's kind of like the Hunter Renfrow at the quarterback position, right? It seems like he's been here for such a long time. The win against Florida was impressive, but when I kind of look at them overall and when I look at the rest of their schedule, how good is this team really going to be? I'm not quite sure. You look at the fact that they just beat the Pirate and Mike Leach and got Arkansas, South Carolina, so I'll take 2 more wins. Probably beat Tennessee, I would assume. Ole Miss, coin flip maybe, LSU, Auburn. So, Jimbo, it's amazing that he's getting paid. What is he getting paid? Like $75 million? And what has he really done over that span, right? I think they've had some solid recruiting, but, I don't know if, anyone's really going to dethrone Alabama from that West. Jimbo's tried to do it several times, even when he was at Florida State. And, it's really not that impressive.
What are they saying on campus, Trey?
Man, I think the biggest talk right now is 22-0, and obviously we're past him this year, but Jimbo's not going to break that up. This team's playing well now. This is a Texas A&M team group that could still. We talked about it last week. They can make the playoff. This is a team that just has to control their own destiny, and they have the path to do that. I think that Kellen Mond is talented enough to get them there, but we're still just going to have to see. Good for them to go to keep it rolling here. I don't know. They don't buzz too much about anybody but Alabama on campus right now.
All right, Tony.
Pull up that schedule again, because I'm actually pretty high on the Aggies. Look, that's okay. So we got a win against Arkansas, a win against South Carolina, a win against Tennessee, a win against Ole Miss, a win against Mick's LSU Tigers. I don't see any losses here, and I think that Texas A&M could backdoor into the playoff. They're not even going to have to play in the SEC championship game. And if your only loss is a road loss to Alabama, I actually like where the Aggies are in this situation in terms of if they can just win the games that I personally feel that they're supposed to win. I think they actually got a good chance. And look, nobody, if you're going to judge it on Alabama level good, I think there's only one other team, and it's Clemson. But based on everyone else, I think A&M's right there. What are they ranked now? Like 7 in the nation or something like that. So I think that they could make a run. I think they could, who knows? Maybe Trey just said it. Maybe they are in the playoff.
I think they're good. The way that they played, last week it kind of gave me this thought, like, if you can beat Florida like that and you're able to kind of move the ball downfield and get enough stops, the way that college football is now, I mean, that makes them a contender. But then I see games like this, and I'm like, good teams aren't going to struggle against this, Mississippi State team. Like, I get it. Like, I'm a fan of Mike Leach. Like, my favorite, like, press conferences when he got on there talking about the Floribama when he was in Washington, and no one knew what he was talking about. We're like, hey, we do it on the line. We do it on the line. We know it's an Alabama-Florida bar, right? I hope he has success because he's so entertaining, but his team, they're weak sauce. All right, look, the biggest surprise to me this week was that not only Kentucky historically has just lost to Tennessee in football, right? I mean, like, just that, like, they doesn't matter what season they got going, but they just don't win. They go in there. Jared Garantano throws for 88 yards, 14 of 21, and 2 interceptions, and both go for pick sixes. And Kentucky's defense is right up there with Georgia, where you're like, oh man, these guys are good. Like, they win the game 34-7. That Jeremy Pruitt, fired his defensive line coach. He's going to coach the defense now. There's people in Knoxville that are calling for him to get fired, which they just at this point could not even think about firing him and buying him out. I mean, they're paying like other coaches, and it's just so crazy how the things have changed so much in 1 week in Tennessee. Let's talk about this, and then we're going to get into Alabama and Tennessee, which is coming up Saturday. But Kyle, I mean, I look at this and I'm like, you lose 34-7 to Kentucky, and you're in Tennessee. That is bad.
Bass Fisher 123. What's up? I love the avatar. Imagine being a Tennessee fan, right? No, I get it. So today, Jeremy Pruitt announced that he will be coaching the defensive line and that Phil Fulmer will be coaching the team, right? That was the announcement. No, I'm just kidding with you guys.
It's going to be Coach Doug's, the imaginary video guy that beat Alabama.
Oh yeah, Coach Doug.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that. That was well done by those guys.
Yeah.
I think when you look at Tennessee, what is the trajectory of this team, right? I thought from the beginning of the season, I actually was kind of impressed, right? I mean, I remember watching them and I was like, oh, not too bad. But now that I've seen them, I'm like, okay, same old story. And Alabama's going to go over there. And what's the official line on the game? Was it really like 28.5? Do we have that, Mick? What's the line on that?
I thought the line was around 2 touchdowns. I'm going to look it up, but I thought
it's in the 28 range.
I tweeted it out. I think it was
wait a second. You're talking about Kentucky, Alabama? I mean, Kentucky, Tennessee, or are you talking about Tennessee, Kentucky, or Tennessee, Alabama?
I'm talking about for Tennessee and Alabama.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's 21 right now.
Yeah, Vegas Insider has it at 21.
21. Okay. I mean, that my point is, what I'm saying, like the trajectory of this game early at like week 2, if I would have looked at it, it looked like a pretty good game. I was like, wow. So after, after Kirby Smart, you got Jeremy Pruitt and his crew. But now I see, I don't really see too much from Tennessee. And I think a lot has to do with the quarterback position. Maybe they do have a good defense. Maybe their offensive line is good. But I think, like I keep saying, unless you have a really, really talented offense like the Las Vegas Raiders, you're not going to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide this year. Hey, thank you, Randall, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Good luck on surgery, man. His prayers are away, buddy.
Yeah, we're thinking about you. I heard that and I got this from a couple different sources, or I wouldn't even say it. I heard that there's a lot of turmoil in that locker room right now, and I'm not sure what that means. But, when you have a team like this, Alabama had a team in 2000 coming off of the 99 national championship game that had turmoil in the locker room. And it really, kind of cost them that season. They were ranked 3rd, and then they lost to UCLA to start the season. And next thing you know, they won 2 or 3 games. I think they won 3 games that whole year. And there was just turmoil in the locker room. So Tennessee was supposed to wear the black jerseys. And then something happened and they didn't wear them. They were gonna have kind of their blackout game. So it could be something with that, from what I understand. I'm not sure because I'm not there, but I can tell you that team is too talented to get a beatdown from Kentucky like that, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's something as dumb that's creating all this turmoil in your locker room as jerseys, where's the mental strength at for a team? And some of that was my fear going into this past weekend for Bama, even after you guys like Dylan Moses come out and make statements about Pete Golding. It's like, where are they going to be mentally? But they got over it, and obviously Tennessee did not. This team is talented. Guarantano's made big strides this offseason. He's looked solid so far, but it's beginning to fall apart. I think this is the worst time for it to happen for Tennessee, because now you're going to have to play Alabama and some of these better schools. Their schedule is nice for the rest of the season because they kind of go every other week playing in Alabama, and then maybe Missouri, and then a Georgia, and then maybe in Arkansas, but they got to figure it out, because if it's not right internally, it's not going to be right on the field. This is some Chris Sales type stuff, excuse me, when he cut up the jerseys a few years ago. I remember that.
Tony, they're going for 14 straight.
They're going to get it too. I was trying to get high on this Tennessee team. I was trying to think like, oh man, this could be an interesting year. Seems like we're always doing that, right? Are we not always thinking like, oh, this Tennessee team looks good, and then it's like this year was 2 games in, but sometimes it gets a little bit more. They can't put it together. You mentioned the firing Pruitt. I mean, who's going to come there anymore? It's a really hard place to coach. It's hard to recruit there. The expectations are still high because you're in the SEC. I mean, they're really falling off as a program. Personally, I think I'd like to see them get on a run. I think I'd like to see that Alabama-Tennessee game matter. It's starting not to matter. And if you look at this game, I mean, look, anything can happen, right? Yeah, but I just don't see it being close. I think Alabama's going to win, probably by more than the 21 points they're favored by.
I love doing this, like if I'm in Knoxville and I'm talking football, I'm like, hey, look, I do this show for Alabama. I'm a grad. How old were you guys last time Tennessee won? And I had this talk with a group of kids one time in middle school. None of them were born yet. So, let's go around the horn here. I was at the last game that Alabama lost to Tennessee. So, I've been to probably like 20 some of these, third Saturday games, going all the way back to Peyton Manning. Trey, we'll start with you, man. Where were you?
Man,
13, going on 14 years ago.
I believe I was 7 years old. I was in 4th grade. Thinking about other teams in these two, and really don't remember any of it. But
you were trying to get that. I don't know what toys you guys played with back then.
Yeah.
Probably video games, right?
Exactly. More worried about the playground than
the swing set. All right. What about you, Kyle? Where were you 13 years ago? 14.
13 years ago. I can tell you the exact place I was. Hold on, I have it written down. Let me pull up the full game list because I want to show you guys. All right, give me 1 second. All right, here's the full game list, if you can see that. My goodness. All right, so in 2006, that's where so in 2006, 2007, I was actually living in Washington, D.C. in 2006. I was actually having such a great time. So check this out. Quick fun story. My roommate, and this isn't a joke. So I'm from New Mexico. My roommate was from Puerto Rico. My other roommate was from Nagasaki, Japan. And my 4th roommate, he was from Iowa. Right. So it was like a joke. Like whoever roomed us, like they saw like where we were from, and they're like, this is going to be epic. So 2006, I was in Washington, D.C. and I don't think it's going to happen. I'm with Tony. I think that, Alabama is just playing at too high a level. And I get it. Like coaches speak like every team can beat them. No, they can't. I mean, just like roster wise, schematically, I think Alabama is playing so good. And I think Steve Sarkisian has such a good game plan that they're going to continue to stay hot. I think they're going to continue to stay hungry. And look, this team is working for perfection. And I think there's a couple of teams on this schedule that Alabama has redemption dates with, right? LSU, Auburn, you got to win the big rivalry game, and that's going to kind of be the catalyst to win this game and put Tennessee away. And of course, we can't wait for those victory cigars pictures with Butch Jones, right? He never got to. Yeah, I love the after ones that like you smoke with the team. But I think that's what keeps this team hungry, and I think what also keeps this team hungry is the fact that perfection redemption dates, and then also either getting a campaign going for Najee Harris or Mac Jones to win that Heisman Trophy and bring it back to Tuscaloosa.
All right, Tony, where were you, man? 13 years ago.
Jeez, I was in high school.
Please bring up Butch Jones's name again one more time. Too.
Yeah, so I was in high school. I think I was like a sophomore in high school. So, yeah.
I was at the game. I remember walking out and being like, man, I can't believe we just lost that. Like, that was Mike Shula, like typical Mike Shula, leading the fourth quarter, give it away. And I was in Knoxville, and I was with some Tennessee friends. And
those were some dark times for Alabama football, too.
Well, you guys don't even
those
know.
Are the dark ages.
Well, and like I was doing the tailgate show a few years ago with Mike Johnson and Baron Huber, and they both played. Baron's from Knoxville, so he's with us. Like he knows that there's a time where Alabama lost to Tennessee a lot. And Mike's like, I don't even consider them a rival. It's LSU and Auburn now. I'm like, don't say that, man. Don't say that, because when we were in school, we didn't beat these guys.
I want it to be a rivalry. It's a classic game. It's a classic like Southern game. I really hope it doesn't lose. That they don't lose that. The colors are fall colors. I mean,
look at that orange though. That was all my years.
I know, man.
In all these games, like it was like every year. Like Peyton Manning's directing the band. They're throwing a touchdown on the first play of the game. Like it was terrible. What Jason Witten had one of those games like where they just kept throwing him the ball. Mike Dubose and his defense just couldn't figure out how to stop him. He's like dragging like 5 guys down the field. Travis Stevens was on those teams. Travis Henry. Big offensive lines, Philip Fulmer coming into town and dominating. Alabama on probation. It was terrible. And old school fans like me are like, Tony, we're not letting these guys up, man. We're not letting them up.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. The Tennessee game is starting to become the game that like the older fans care about, because it's the game. I wonder if somebody like an LSU were to fall off, then we're going to have a whole generation of people saying, no, Alabama LSU was a rivalry game, But look, I hope it stays. I really do. I think it's a classic rivalry. I like rivalry games. I like big games that matter. I'm glad that Alabama Georgia is becoming a big game that matters. I wish they play Georgia more, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know how it's going. I don't know how this Tennessee upturn would happen, but I really do. I look forward to this game. It's just a classic game, and I'm looking forward to it this week as well.
Well,
I Mick, before we move forward, give your buddy Reagan at R&R a shout out. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, look, guys. Let me tell you something right now. This is like the biggest week of the year for the cigar business, and Reagan at R&R Cigars, our guy. The Cigar Mansion's in downtown Tuscaloosa. Reagan's in there. He's got like special cigars that were made just for this game, but they also got a humidor of all kind of stuff. I hung out there a little bit Saturday before I did the watch party. They had the Yingling chocolate porter, the Hershey chocolate porter, by the way. They're like one of the only places in town that have it. So go in there and grab a cigar. Of course, they have if you tell them Mick sent you, that's me. You get a cigar and an Angel's Envy bourbon for $10. But go by there and go in and talk to Reagan, and it's going to be crowded. So, just go in there and get your cigar. I mean, nothing's better. And I guess it goes back to you guys looking at all that orange when we lost to Tennessee every year. That was when I was a student, because I've been to every single one of these games going way back, and I smoke my cigar every time. Like, I can't wait to crack my Rocky Patel Platinum open and light that thing with my Rocky Patel Flame and smoke it if Alabama wins, and
right,
I enjoyed it there, and I'll enjoy it there again.
So look, this is what you look like after Alabama beats Tennessee without a cigar. This is what you look like after Alabama beats Tennessee with a cigar. Make a choice and go to R&R and tell them Mick sent you. And I think their promo code is simply Roll Tide, which is the same as ours.
Yeah, and this funny thing, and I'm going to try to find it on here. Today it had like, on Facebook, it had like the, hey, remember this moment, like where they have the moment on there. And it was a picture that was on the cover of a newspaper of me smoking a cigar, and one of those wins 8 or 9 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I forgot I was on the cover of the newspaper smoking a cigar. Like somebody just snapped a picture and put it out there. So I do it, man. I do it. All right, guys, look, this show, it goes by so fast. I want to go around the horn. You guys tell me what you're up to this week. Promote whatever you want to promote and give me your last thoughts. Start with you, Trey.
Yeah, it's just still a big week. We got the midterms coming at us, but it's going to be a great week. Getting this game behind us is a big weight lifted. Exciting to hate on Tennessee a little bit. So it's going to be a good one. Personally, I got some other stuff going on. We had a podcast last night. Got another show coming up on Saturday. We got the tailgate show coming for you guys on Friday, and we're going to have some great coverage this weekend. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So just looking forward to that. Keeping it rolling. What do you got, Kyle?
Million and one things. But no, I think when I kind of look at the rest of this week, we got Nick Saban's press conference that we posted today. You got Jeremy Pruitt. So you can also listen to those via podcast. So I know you're out there and thank you very much for watching the show. But if you're on the go, if you're driving, whatever, you obviously can't watch. So just look for BamaInsider on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We gear up for this weekend's tailgate show, which is Friday night. Mick will be in Tennessee. So will Tony. He'll be out at Neyland Stadium. I'll be back here. Trey, you'll be here at the watch party, right? So we'll be doing our Jimmy John's watch special from the crib at the Henderson studio. And I'm just looking for another great week of positivity. And I'm looking to see how this offense continues to roll and how this defense continues to progress.
All right. How about you, Tony?
Yeah, like you, Mick, I'll be making the trip to Tennessee. I kind of enjoy that trip. It's really pretty up there. So I'll be making the trip up there with my wife and then obviously covering the game. I got some, like everyone, I've got really good content coming this week. I think, keep it locked on BamaInsider.com so you make sure you don't miss anything. I might write a story about your boy Devontae Smith at the end of the week as well.
Smitty, you should. All right, guys, this was it right here. Tell me if you can see this. Well, after that comes up there. Let me put that up there, Kyle. See if I can get that. That right there. And that guy, Roger Hoover, is actually like a Crimson Tide Sports Network broadcaster, but he went to Tennessee. And that's me putting my arms around him and blowing smoke in his face. That's after one of those wins. Look, I'm a fan, okay? I graduated from Alabama.
You look like you're about 8 years old. If I was a police officer, I would have.
That wasn't that long ago, man. I don't know what happened. You're saying like I've gotten a little bit more like, sophisticated looking since then.
Yeah. I guess I'm saying you got a little bit wiser, but right there, I would have. If I was a cop, I would have went up to him. Hey, man. Yeah, I know it's Tennessee game, but
yeah. Well, look, man. For any of you guys that are going, Tony, you're welcome to join. Friday night, we're going to have the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Look right there. There it is, the logo. And it's going to be from Eastern Time, 7 to 9. Of course, it'll be 6 to 8 Central. But Friday night, we're going to be at Old Tennessee Distillery. That's a moonshine place that's in Sevierville, Tennessee. It's kind of right on the if you go, you don't have to drive all the way into Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg to get there. It's a little bit out of town, but it's right by where the baseball stadium is. I've broadcasted games in the past, right by Smoky Stadium. It's easy to get in and get out. We're going to be there from 7 to 9 Eastern Time, broadcasting our show live, and it's like they got free moonshine tasting going on. The show's going to be going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. I was talking to the guy today, and they've got all kind of different stuff. And we're going to break this matchup down, man. Like, I'm one of these people, and it's good to see Derek on there. I'm one of these people that still believes that this is a rivalry game. This is the third Saturday in October game. This rivalry goes back. You're talking about Bear Bryant and General Neyland and Philip Fulmer and Bear, and Nick Saban now has absolutely dominated. We've never had it's always been kind of streaky, but it's never been like this. No team has ever gotten to 13, and now Alabama going to 14, trying to get to 14 straight wins. I just think that Alabama's got to be careful because Tennessee at this point doesn't have anything to lose. And I feel like a lot of the problems that they have are self-induced. I thought the way they played the first half against Georgia, they play that way, and they're going to be tough to beat. Now, they obviously didn't do that against Arkansas, but you put these games out there, you put these two teams out there. I love looking at the uniforms when the orange comes out and the white and the crimson and white comes out and they meet on the field. It's just not a better look in college football. And The other thing, too, is I love going to Neyland Stadium, man. I love it. It's always this time of year when we're there, kind of fall. It's a little bit cool. They seem to always be like 2:30 games. You can see the Tennessee River floating by downtown, and like it's just the checkerboard end zone. I've got a lot of friends in big orange colors. That's right. It's 407 right off the 104. Come by and see me, man. I mean, we're going to be there, and I would love to see all you guys out there for this because it's, like I'm pretty pumped up about getting to, to kind of – I love the Smoky Mountains, just period, So anyway, this is what college football is all about. And I want to tell you guys this too, you young folks, enjoy this. Enjoy what's going on at Alabama right now because it does not always happen this way. It doesn't happen where you win 14 straight or 13 straight against your rival. So, this is probably going to be the longest streak that we're ever going to have between Alabama and Tennessee where one team's this dominant. But I feel like Alabama, after that win against Georgia, they just got to come in there, protect Mac, and let him throw the football. Tennessee can be dangerous. We saw that last year. They hurt Tua, remember? And all of a sudden, we had a football game. So the game's in Knoxville, and we want to see you guys swing by and hang out. And then I'm going to be a fan, Tony. You're going to be in the stands. I'm tailgating.
You're going to have a good time, man.
I'm tailgating.
Everything you said, I love it up there. I love the weather. I love the Tennessee River. You're going to be drinking moonshine. You're going to be taken care of.
I'm going all in on the moonshine, the screwball, and the Yingling, and whatever else comes my way. And for those of you that are like Tennessee people, the guy, my man Smitty, he owns like all these McDonald's in Cleveland, Tennessee. He gave me the ticket. He's a huge Cubs fan, and he gave me the ticket. So I don't really go to a lot of games like as a fan, never. I mean, this might be one of the only games I go to, but I told you, when I was in school, Kyle put the chart up there. It was all orange. So if I get a chance to go to put the cigar on at the end of the game and walk out there, you roll it down for me, Kyle. Just put it back there again. I want to put this in perspective, if you don't mind, like what I dealt with as an Alabama student. It was like, I want to say 7 or 8 straight years of walking out of that stadium and the Tennessee fans smoking the cigars. So this is, there it is right there. Yeah, I wasn't there in 95. I wasn't there in 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. Yeah, I know. Before that, Bear owned it. But it's kind of a weird, look at that pattern right there. So weird, the coloring. But this is what college football is all about, guys. All right, I think that does it for Monday Night Quarterback. And I know we've kind of gone long here, but it's because we're having so much fun.
Hey, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Be sure and subscribe to our podcast and be sure and hit the like button. Super chats always welcomed. And we'll be back. We got Tuesday tomorrow night. We got Andrew Bone Show recruiting. JaQuincy McKinstry is announcing on Sunday. Andrew Bone has recently put in a forecast. We'll talk more with him on Tuesday. Wednesday night, I'll take your calls. And then on Thursday, maybe we'll have something special for you guys. And then on Friday, it's the Bama Insider Tailgate Show. Mick will be up in Tennessee. I'll be here at the Bama Insider Studio. Tyler will be behind the scenes producing the show. And then, of course, on Saturday, it's game day as Alabama will take on Tennessee from Knoxville, Tennessee, up at Neyland Stadium. Tony will be driving up there. So tons of coverage coming your way on Bama Insider. Let me give Bama Insider a quick shout out real quick. And I think we're about to have a pretty good promo at Bama Insider just because we're expecting a really big week. So if you're not familiar, you can go to Bama Insider. The promo code to sign up to get behind that premium paywall is simply Roll Tide at checkout. Again, it's Roll Tide at checkout. Go to Bama Insider. Tons of great content your way at Bama Insider. And we appreciate you guys joining us on Monday Night Quarterback. I had a great time.
Oh, so did I. Yeah. Let's do it again next week, guys. You want to?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it again next week. All right, until next Monday. See you guys.